Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Lenz, and my action research project focused on homework. So, the big issue I was trying to tackle in my classroom is that many students do not turn in homework. I would oftentimes assign homework, and out of my 25 student class, only get 3 homework assignments back. I teach freshmen, a freshman English class in high school, and this had a very large impact on me this year in terms of pacing and instruction. We started falling behind with our work because students weren't doing the reading at home, which oftentimes left them confused in class and ultimately led to low mastery for the skills we were focusing on and low grades. So I saw this as a pivotal issue in my class that could really turn around what students were able to do. So after some reflection, I landed on my final research question being, what interventions are most effective to help remotivate students who lose enthusiasm for homework upon leaving the classroom? Students generally were fairly engaged in the work in class, but there seemed to be this disconnect with my students when they left school and retaining that enthusiasm. So, to begin my project, I began with a quantitative needs assessments. There are many questions on this screen, but essentially what they asked was, how important is homework to you as a student, as well as some general questions about how they felt completing homework, the difficulty of the homework, and as well as them tracking down homework in an agenda. So there were several findings from my quantitative needs assessment. The first was that students seemed to understand that homework was important, but not specifically important to themselves. They generally did not enjoy doing it, although they did share that they felt a sense of accomplishment. Students did not find it very difficult, and the time to complete it varied. But the big takeaway is that many students did not track their assessments, or sorry, rather track their homework in an agenda, and furthermore, did not check it at home, even if they had written it down. So organization was a critical piece there as well. For my qualitative needs assessment, I asked a few open-ended questions. First being, if you frequently complete homework, what motivates you to do so? If you don't often complete homework, why don't you? Is homework important to your success as a person? Why or why not? What would help or motivate you to complete homework? So my goal here was expanding the responses from the quantitative needs assessment to get some more authentic answers in terms of why students were not completing homework. So here are a few quotes I pulled from my qualitative needs assessment. So students mentioned that one of their motivations for completing homework was seeing their grade improve. That was the most consistent theme I pulled from the data. In terms of when students were not completing homework, many said that they forgot to do it or did not find it personally valuable to them. So this led me to believe a couple things. First, that homework is a skill that needs to be taught. In my mind, that if I gave an assignment and only a small fraction of students were able to complete it, that was a skill that they had not been taught. Investment really needed to be built around the worth of homework. And finally, that students needed to see success with completion of their homework, as well as building those organizational skills with an agenda to use nightly. So in my review of the literature, I found that there were, homework intervention strategies were usually broken into extrinsic and intrinsic strategies. So several of the extrinsic strategies that I stumbled upon were homework quizzes. So this would be that students do homework and the next day they have a quiz that they can use their homework on. So in other words, if they complete their homework, they're going to ace the quiz. Parent contact came up very frequently in terms of reporting both positive and negative work with homework, and having school-wide intervention systems for students that did not complete homework. Homework contracts were also present as well that had further intervention systems or rewards for students completing homework. And then finally, just physical rewards. So this could be candy, this could be build up to a homework pass, something that students tangibly wanted to have as a result of their homework. The intrinsic strategies at home involved specific parental praise and motivation. Specifically here, parents pushing their students in terms of their rigor, but also being very positive and supportive. Technology was also found to build interest in terms of the same assignments, one given on technology, one given on paper. There was more investment in technology. Other strategies around the emotional regulation of the homework process. This was coaching that needed to be done at home, but when students started to struggle with homework, there were strategies and techniques they could use to keep their momentum going. And finally, boosting students' self-esteem. So one of the themes that pulled up here is that students need to have confidence in themselves as they are completing their homework. So my action plan was broken into two categories, an extrinsic strategy and two intrinsic strategies. The extrinsic strategy would be an English Bucks reward system. So students would receive English Bucks for having homework completed on time that could be used as a reward for candy or extra credit in the class. So that was a very tangible reward students could get their hands on quickly. The second strategies that were in line with the intrinsic research was first for shout outs. So at the beginning of class, I would begin with praising certain students for habits that they had demonstrated with their homework classwork and allow other students to do the same as well. The second intrinsic strategy was building more rationale around homework. Specifically, after I would explain the homework, students would have to create the rationale for themselves for why this homework assignment was important to themselves in their lives. And the second piece of that was agenda tracking. Some students have an agenda, some didn't, so I went ahead and created weekly agendas that I would use for them each week, that they would record their assignments so that there would be no excuse for them not to write down their work. So that is my project. Hope you all enjoyed it, and looking forward to your feedback in the comments. Have a great night.